Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Today we're going to be talking about kefir and cholesterol. And I have 3 studies that have been done on kefir and cholesterol. And I've seen so many people get better from drinking kefir and watching the cholesterol lower, including myself. I remember when one of my really good friends called me and said that her cholesterol had gone down since she had been drinking kefir. And her good cholesterol went through the roof, was what her doctor said he was very pleased about. And I get a lot of emails from people expressing this to me through, doctor's appointments and things, where they noticed that after they started drinking about a cup of kefir a day, which is usually in the form of a smoothie, that their numbers had gotten a lot better. This is not an unusual occurrence when people start consuming cultured foods, especially kefir. These microbes that are in our bodies, which are 100 trillion of them, can really help us with all manner of problems. And cholesterol is no exception. I do love all the things that kefir can do. And here's some science to explain how the bacteria in our body helps with cholesterol. So one reason probiotics help lower cholesterol is because bacteria consumes prebiotic fibers, which are usually soluble fibers, in the small intestines and create short-chain fatty acids, which one of those is called propionic acid. This one is specifically helpful in reducing production of cholesterol by the liver. That's a short-chain fatty acid, and it works very, very well. And another way probiotics bring down cholesterol is that as bacteria grows in the intestinal tract, they consume some of the cholesterol that is present. They use it as a food source, incorporating it into their own cells, and that means the cholesterol becomes unavailable for absorption from the intestines into the bloodstream, so it just naturally lowers cholesterol. Now, kefir is such a powerful food, and if you don't know what kefir is a fermented milk drink, and you can be with dairy or non-dairy. We've got like 16 non-dairy recipes too, but it's very powerful. It has 50 good bacteria and yeast, and more studies are coming out showing the power of my very favorite cultured food, which is kefir. It is the first food that I ever started consuming in 2001, and I have witnessed firsthand the effects that it's had on my body. It helps lower my blood pressure, cholesterol, and my blood sugars too, and so much more. The first kefir study was in the Journal of Pharmanutrition, and it was published by the pharmaceutical and physiological researchers at the University Vila Velha and Federal University of Espírito Santo, which are both in Brazil. And they did a study on the effects of consuming kefir, and they did it with the ones that you make with kefir grains, and they did it for 12 weeks. The researchers examined data from 48 patients who have been diagnosed with metabolic syndrome, which is simultaneously occurring condition that increases a person's chance of heart disease, and that includes things like high cholesterol, high blood sugar, excessive fat around the middle, high blood pressure, and many other ailments. The researchers divided the 48 participants into 2 groups for 12 weeks. One group drank milk kefir daily, while the control group drank a placebo drink. Neither group knew which ones they were receiving. The results, the participants who drank kefir saw decreased blood pressure, lower fasting blood sugar, decreased levels of bad cholesterol, and for female participants, they all had an increase of good cholesterol. The study authors wrote, kefir also reduced the risk of cardiovascular events for the next 10 years based on the study, reducing the oxalating LDLs and the risk of developing cardiovascular events in the next 10 years. The risk of this is calculated through the Farmington score method. And they said it makes a huge difference and keeps your heart healthy along with your blood sugars and your blood pressure. It helps to reduce all of that, which that has happened to me. So those very things have happened in my life, which is the reason I have consumed it since 2001 every day. Now, there's another study, and this one is in 2022, and it was done at the Baskent University Department of Gastronomy in Turkey. And they wanted to investigate the effects of kefir consumption on the lipid profiles of individuals with normal, like metabolic type properties, the same type of metabolic syndrome properties that we had in the other study. And it was carried out on 23 volunteer hospital health personnel between the ages of 20 and 55. And the volunteers regularly consumed kefir on an empty stomach for 4 weeks. And in the 4-week period they consumed kefir, their total cholesterol values decreased by 9.15% compared to their regular values. Their LDL cholesterol values decreased by 10.64%. HDL cholesterol values decreased by 6.9 because the overall cholesterol went down. And triglyceride values decreased by 2.46% and 5.71%. That was just a varying rate on different individuals. And it was all decreased in comparing to their initial values that they took when they started the study. And the study people concluded that the regular consumption of kefir was effective in both men and women in lowering total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol from blood lipid profiles, while this effect was not observed in the people who were not consuming the kefir but the placebo. Now, cholesterol changes with kefir among females with obesity in this next study. And this was a 2017 study. And they noticed changes in females who were obese or overweight and who drank low-fat milk or kefir. So the participants drank either 2 servings of low-fat milk a day or 4 servings of low-fat milk with kefir. And after 8 weeks, those who drank kefir showed significant decreases in their total cholesterol and their low-density lipoprotein cholesterol compared to those who only drank the 2 servings of milk a day. And guys, I have all the research for this. I have the links all in my article, which you could go to. It usually is in the description. Go to my website and just click on, because I always have a podcast with an article, and kefir and cholesterol, and you'll see all of the research links if you want to look at them more detail. Now, our bodies are constantly renewing ourselves every day. They're destroying viruses, possible cancer cells, every day, all day long. And just while you're going about your day, you don't know this, but this is what's happening. And everything goes along pretty well until you overburden your body with toxins and foods that pollute your body and overwhelm its ability to keep you well and keep those things going. So if we overindulge in all manner of food and drink that brings stress and overwhelms the body and creates disease, and we're under a lot of stress, this can really hamper the body's ability to keep you well. So I want to try to change that with you by giving you some healthy alternatives to help your body and your taste buds to stay healthy and happy, and let the microbes do the work for you so you don't get sick. So there are lactobacillus species in kefir. They are so abundant. It's more than any other cultured food. And lactobacillus is one of the very powerful things they noticed that is lowering the cholesterol. Now, I have a list of all the different bacteria in kefir, the 50 plus, and they're good yeast too. They're bacteria and yeast because you need good yeast. But there are so many in kefir, and I have a list on my website and in this article, which I don't really want to go read them all because, first of all, sometimes they're hard to articulate, although I know a lot of them. But there's so many in here that help you, from acidophilus to breze to fermenten, Halavictus. There's even plantarum. There's even a form of L-reuteri in here, which is different than the yogurt, but there's so many different bacteria that help to keep things running in your body. And they're naturally abiding within you, but they're abundant in kefir. And a kefir smoothie is a very, very powerful thing to have, especially in the morning. I do it every morning. I just had one this morning. And it starts your day by flooding you with lots of healthy bacteria. It tastes good. And then no matter what you do the rest of the day in the morning, at least you gave your body some kefir. Your cells were flooded with these nutrients. Kefir is so anti-inflammatory. It's loaded with enzymes, probiotics, vitamins, and it's a very different food than regular dairy. And you can make this with non-dairy too. But fermentation changes the entire food. It gives the milk vitamin C, which is often killed through pasteurization. It gives it lots of B vitamins, increases it dramatically. Folic acid goes in there, all different kinds of vitamins and minerals. It lowers the sugar content because it eats the lactose in the milk. It's 99.9% lactose free. And it loads it with probiotics and enzymes that aren't naturally occurring in that milk. So it's a completely different food than regular milk. And it is one of the best things you can do to keep inflammation down in your body. And it's pre-digested and speeds to the part of the body that is calling for your nutrients. Kefir smoothie makes everything better. And I have a kefir smoothie. It's called Get Better Kefir Smoothie. It's what I recommend people start with when they're trying to start with something. And I was very surprised by this. I put this out a few weeks ago, and I've seen such dramatic results with this. I've been getting a lot of emails of people telling me how much it's making them feel better. And I saw this firsthand with some people in my own life that were struggling, acquaintances that I knew. And this simple smoothie has changed everything for them. And basically what it is it's, a half a cup to a cup of kefir. You put some frozen fruit in it or some, fresh squeezed orange juice. You can put that in there too. That works really well. Then you add a little bit of what I call red fetal powder or simple reds. And it's just dried berries that feed that bacteria in your gut and so much help your heart and your cholesterol because it feeds that bacteria, makes it grow and multiply. And it does a million things. It gives you energy. It feeds bifidobacteria in your body. It's very powerful. And with the addition of that smoothie in your diet, it can change everything. You'll feel so much better. And I am getting so many emails from people that have been doing this smoothie and have been feeling so much better. And it's a simple way to start your day. It takes less than 5 minutes to make. It doesn't take that long. And you can change it up. And I have a bunch of different ones on my website of smoothies. That's the one I would recommend you start out with. In that smoothie, I also recommend, if you're just getting started, to take something called HMOs, which is human milk oligosaccharides. They're not really human milk, they're fermented, but they're what you got at birth from your mother, and they make bifidobacteria grow like crazy. And remember, kefir feeds bifidobacteria. So, and you only need to take it for a few weeks, but what it does is it greatly sets the groundwork to just get everything going in a powerful way. So you've got kefir, you got HMOs and simple reds and fruit. And it is a game changer, sorry. And I'm actually thinking about doing a whole course on it because it's so powerful and it works so well for so many people, including myself. And it's a great place to get started because it's something that really does change your microbiome powerfully, but it also makes you feel better. And it gets the right bacteria into your gut. And when you have the right bacteria in your gut, that gets rid of the other bacteria that may be dominating that aren't as good for you. So it crowds out the bad bacteria because you're feeding it. If you're putting in the simple red, you're feeding that good bacteria, making it grow, which pushes the candida to its rightful place. I had a lady write me and said that before she started this protocol, she had a lot of candida in her. And after she started doing this protocol, she went back and there was none of an overgrowth going on. She just shocked her because she didn't think it would work that fast. And I think it worked pretty fast. It was in a few weeks. And because once you have a lot of good bacteria, the harmful bacteria can't abide there anymore. Because unbeknownst to you, there's a battle going on in your gut all the time for dominance. Which ones are going to dominate? Which bacteria are going to take control? And the more good bacteria you have, the harmful ones have to go away or at least diminish, whereas candida goes back to its rightful little corner because it's crowded out by the abundance of good bacteria. And it does all this without you knowing it. You may get a die-off as you drink this because, for instance, candida gives off 80 toxins when it dies. So, but that's short-lived. And the more good bacteria you have, the more powerful your body will work for you to keep pathogens away, viruses, harmful invaders that can make you sick. And it keeps you strong, it keeps you healthy, and it keeps you young. And that's why I have the addition of HMOs, which is the human milk oligosaccharides. And you can find all this on my site. But it is a powerful addition that you don't need forever. You just need a good base of it. Many people's HMOs have gotten, bifidobacteria has gotten diminished, and HMO helps restore that. And it does it really fast because bifidobacteria runs your immune system. And if you're feeling really bad, chances are your bifido is struggling. And HMOs will fix that in a hurry along with kefir. together they're just powerful. And I've seen it in all the emails I've been getting. So we have lots of different smoothies. If you don't want to do it that way, we have other types of smoothies. I have like blueberry banana, blueberry coconut, chimp mint smoothies, which are like green smoothies, chocolate cherry kefir smoothies, which are some of my favorite. I have a chocolate peppermint almond kefir shake that you can do with almond kefir. I have pina coladas, plum and bananas, pumpkin chives, raspberry kefir, raspberry peppermint. I have all kinds of smoothies on there, and I'm going to link them all in this article so you can find them. But anyway, that is my suggestion. We don't really know what's going on inside of our bodies. For instance, if you don't check, you don't know what your cholesterol, what your blood pressure, what your blood sugars are doing. If you're not having a lot of energy and not feeling well, I highly recommend you add a kefir smoothie to your morning. It is just so crazy easy. It's delicious, and I love the way it makes me feel. That's why I've been doing it for 20 years. So over 20 years. So anyway, I hope that helps. Check out all the recipes. You can go to Cultured Food Life and look at the article, or the podcast is all on there. It has all the articles, all the recipes, all the links, everything you need for free on there. That will really help you get started. Kefir's great. It's very sustainable. It can last your lifetime. I still have my kefir grains from 22 years ago because they reproduce and multiply every week. We also have a product called Easy Kefir that is so easy. It's kind of where I started when I started. It's made from kefir grains, and you can use a portion of it every week. You don't get kefir grains from it, but it's made from kefir grains. So all you do is put the powder in with some milk, set it on the counter for 24 hours, you got kefir. And then you can use like a fourth a cup of that to make another one. And it goes on and on and on. As long as you do it regularly, it just goes on for a very, very, very long time. And kefir grains last forever if you take care of them. So those are two ways to make kefir. Both of them work wonderfully. One depends on, if you don't want to babysit kefir grains, Easy Kefir's for you because you don't have to make kefir every day. Kefir grains like to be made every day. They don't like to be in the fridge for long periods of time. They get very upset about that. And on occasion, they ate themselves. I went in and they were gone because they don't like to be in the cold all the time. They like being on the counter. They like making kefir. And so I've made it every day for so many years, I can't even remember when I didn't make kefir. But you can also make Easy Kefir, which I absolutely love. It's very creamy. You don't have to babysit kefir grains, but it's made from kefir grains. They're just in a powder form. And then every week you just use a portion of that, or how often you want to make it, use a portion of that kefir that you made to make another jar. So it's a really good idea for people who are really busy, which is why I developed that with the help of the good people at Cutting Edge Cultures. They're great. And so that is how we've been able to help people who are busy, don't have time for, babysitting kefir grains, but want the benefits of kefir. So those are my tips. If you do anything, if you try any cultured food, try this. Try kefir. It's the most amazing, the easiest to make, and has the most probiotics in it. It's fabulous. So, and it tastes kind of like yogurt. It's more of a pourable yogurt, but it still has a wonderful taste, and it can get pretty thick sometimes too. Mine, especially in the winter, gets super thick like yogurt. And I love that. And I call it winter kefir, and I love that. Temperature changes kefir a little bit. So anyway, those are my suggestions. Look up my Get Better Kefir Smoothie if you're struggling and not feeling well. It is a game changer, and it works very, very, very well. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you'll have some kefir this week. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.